Alrighty, welcome back, everybody. We are going to learn some more redstone. And last episode, we weren't in the rain the way we are right now. I saw some lightning a second ago. I don't see any right now, but somebody's going to get hit by lightning at any moment unless I decide to make the weather clear. And that's what we're going to do. That's much better. I don't like being dripping wet over here while I'm trying to learn some redstone. So, last time that we were here, we talked about some of the stuff behind me. We talked about how levers work, and buttons, and trap chests, and blocks of redstone, and we even talked about daylight sensors. And I think that today we're going to move right on over to another power component. This one is called the detector rail. Now, what does this do? It's exactly what it says. It is a rail. This is regular rail. This is the detector rail. This is powered rail. A detector rail actually detects when a minecart rolls over it and provides power to the adjacent block. So let's give this a try. I've built this little railway here. I've put this activator rail here with a block of redstone in order to keep the minecart moving up the rail. But what you're going to see is what happens when I push a button here. This button, like we discussed before, is another power component. It's going to provide power to the rail here and allow the minecart to get moving. When it passes over, well, let me just show you. Did you see what just happened? When it passes over this rail, it detects it and it provides a redstone signal. It was about to slow down and stop right about here, so this activated rail kept it going. Let me show you one more time. What is this about? Holy cow. More weather? Come on, guys. I'm trying to run a tutorial here. Okay. Let's put a minecart back down. We're going to activate this rail that's right here by pushing the button. I didn't push a button. Okay. We are going to activate this rail by pushing this button, and when you activate the rail, the minecart gets going. Remember how long this button stays on for? That's correct. If this were a stone button, it would stay on for 10 ticks, which means 1 second. The wooden button stays on for 15 ticks, 1.5 seconds. Let's back up a little bit and let's watch this roll. Now, we haven't talked about repeaters and comparators yet, but they can both be activated by this signal. So can redstone dust and really any other redstone component that you have adjacent to this rail. Moving right along, we're going to talk a little bit about pressure plates. Now, it's getting a little dark over here, so I'm going to make it daytime again. What we have here in front of us is a stone pressure plate. There are stone pressure plates and there are wooden pressure plates. The only difference that I can find between the two is that you can actually throw an entity onto a wooden pressure plate and it will activate the pressure plate. This doesn't seem to happen with stone pressure plates. Well, to be fair, I don't think I actually hit the pressure plate there, but there I did, and it's not activating. If I stand on it, it will activate. So let's talk about this pressure plate here. It is sitting on a block. This block is going to get activated. The block adjacent to it is also going to get activated. Now remember, just like a lever, this pressure plate will activate any block directly adjacent to it. Technically, it's occupying the space just on top of this grass block. So it's going to activate the block below it, i.e., if I had a redstone lamp under this pressure plate, it would activate. Additionally, this is another adjacent block because the pressure plate is actually sitting and occupying the space of the block right in front of the redstone lamp. So when I stand on it, it activates. If I were to remove this, the pressure plate goes away first. However, if I put a redstone lamp and we put a pressure plate on top of it, well, we can't see it, but it's going to activate that lamp as well. Can you see it down there? It's lit. Okay. Every block adjacent. It's actually every block that's adjacent to the block that the pressure plate is occupying. Okay. This is a pressure plate that's sitting on an upside down stairs. The reason why I'm showing you this is because under normal circumstances, this redstone lamp would be activated by the presence of an activated pressure plate. However, in this situation, it doesn't activate. When you place a pressure plate onto an upside down staircase or a slab, it will not activate the lamp directly adjacent to it. It will, however, activate a lamp if you were to place it here. The reason, once again, is because we are now causing a redstone signal to go directly to the block adjacent to the block that the pressure plate is occupying. Does that make sense? Let me show you over here. I've put redstone lamps under the ground here as well, and they get activated by this pressure plate. You see how the redstone lamp underneath is activated? Because we are actually sitting on this block, and this block is going to activate the block adjacent to it. This pressure plate is going to activate the block adjacent to the block it is occupying as well. So everything lights up. If we had put this on an upside down stairs or on a slab, it would not activate the redstone torch directly behind. It will activate the redstone the redstone lamp directly behind the block that the pressure plate itself is occupying. Is all of this making sense? This is a slab, right? Yes. So once again, just like the upside down staircase, no activation. If I put a lamp here, however, it is activating. I'd like to give you another example, but I'm quite literally changing this from rain and thunderstorms over to clear every 5 seconds. And I don't really know why. Anyway, we're on a slab. We're next to a slab. This will not activate. We've activated the pressure plate, but nothing is happening. Why? Because the pressure plate will send a redstone signal to the adjacent block. However, slabs don't get activated. If this were a redstone lamp or any other component, we'd get a signal. You see that? Okay. Okay, this is another example. Pressure plate, redstone lamp, block of stone, redstone lamp. In this situation, what is going to get activated? You are correct. The pressure plate is going to cause an activation of the block below it and the blocks next to that block. We've actually activated technically this stone block, but not the redstone lamp. Why? Because we're only activating the block adjacent to the block that the pressure plate is occupying. See the difference? Next, we've placed the pressure plate on a block of stone. Behind the block of stone is another block of stone. Above that is a redstone lamp. What do you think is going to happen? Based on everything we've learned, this pressure plate is going to activate this block of stone. Is this block of stone then going to transmit to the blocks adjacent? Yes, it will. If I had a redstone lamp in front of it, on the side, on the other side, and behind, any of those components would get activated. Now, furthermore, because this pressure plate is occupying the block above this block of stone, this is going to activate and send a signal to any blocks adjacent to it as well. Therefore, this redstone lamp should get activated. if I learn how to throw. Now, what would happen if I were to take this lamp and place it there? What do you think? I think it gets activated. And we would be correct. What if I place one here? Yes. And here? I think we're getting the hang of this. Get it? Get it? Good. I think we've beaten this to death. Next, we're going to talk about redstone torches. And we're going to get rained on. Redstone torches are actually very interesting. And you see I have several setups over here in order to run through this. You can place a redstone torch pretty much on any surface that you can set up a regular torch. It is going to provide a redstone signal in a slightly different way from the other components we've been talking about. You see this lamp? It is not activated. The torch is going to provide a signal to the blocks adjacent to it, but not the block it's directly attached to. So as you can see, there's a redstone torch hanging directly on this lamp, and the lamp is not turning on. Right next to it, we have a redstone torch directly on top of a redstone lamp, and again, it's not turning on. However, you place the redstone torch on this block of grass, it is going to activate anything directly around it. It's not going to activate this because the block of grass itself is not activated. Why? Because the torch is sitting on it. But it will activate a block directly adjacent to it. Does that make sense? Using this knowledge now, you'll be able to tell me a couple of things. Is this block that I'm going to place directly on top of this lamp going to be activated? The answer is no, it won't. Where am I going to get redstone signal? What happens if I put a block here? Will it be activated? The answer is yes. How about over here? The answer is yes. Now, what's interesting about redstone torches is that it will send a signal to the block above it as well. So watch this. It's on. But now, check out this little interesting tidbit. It's turned on the other block that originally wasn't activated. Why? Because it's actually providing a source. The redstone torch has powered the block above, and now this block is going to power any block adjacent to it. That's why this redstone torch is turned on. So is this one, so is that one. If we were to remove that block and place blocks around it, they will not be activated. Why? The redstone torch will only provide power here, 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 and now here as well. Once you place this block here, it almost becomes your source block. It is an activated block which will activate the blocks adjacent. All because of the redstone torch underneath it. So here is a demonstration of what I was trying to show you. Now, this would be on even without this torch underneath. Why? Because we actually have another redstone torch here. So let's take this off. See, the redstone torch is activating the block above it, and it's actually going to give power here as well. Now in this demonstration, the attachment block is the block of stone. It is not powered. This is why the lamp in front of it is not powered. The redstone torch is powering the block above, the block adjacent, but not the block it's directly attached to. If I were to remove this redstone lamp and place it here, it will not power this lamp because that is the attachment block. Understand? Now what are we looking at here? Again, the stone block is the attachment block. we are receiving power from the redstone torch, and it's going to the block directly above. The block directly above this redstone torch is now your power component. You can think about it that way, because it is powering the blocks adjacent to it. If I were to place a redstone lamp directly next to this one, do you think it's gonna activate? You bet it will. How about here? Nope. You know why? It is not directly adjacent to your source, which is the redstone lamp in this case. I don't really know what that was doing there. Now, one more very interesting thing about redstone lamps, and actually a very, very important principle in the use of redstone components, is that the redstone lamp itself will turn off if the attachment block becomes powered by another source. We've already said that the attachment block is not going to be powered by the torch. Here's a demonstration of what I'm talking about. Now, people who know redstone call it signal inversion. If I were to take this torch away, I lose the power in this block. If I were to turn it into an attachment block, i.e., this is the block in which the redstone torch is attached, that block itself is not powered, right? The redstone torch is going to power any block adjacent, excluding this block here. However, if I were to power that block, i.e., put a redstone torch below it and make it a powered block, what's going to happen to this redstone torch? It's going to turn off. And that, you'll see as the tutorial goes on, is an extremely important principle. What is going on with this rain? This is incredible. Let's make it clear, and let's demonstrate what I'm talking about. This redstone torch turns on because it is attached to an activated block. You will see much more of this later down the line. Next, we're going to talk about a block that is extremely important to redstone builds, the observer. What does it do? It observes. What does it observe? It observes changes in the state of the block directly in front of it. The face of the observer is the side of the observer that recognizes a change in the block in front of it. The back of the observer has this little thing, and it produces a redstone signal. That's why I've put a piston here for demonstration. If I were to do anything to this block, for example, I place a block here, a redstone signal has been generated. Don't believe me? Did you see that? And it didn't just happen when I placed the block, it also happened when I broke the block. Why? Because it is detecting a change in the block directly in front of it, i.e. this empty block right here, the block above the grass block that I'm pointing to as we speak. Not this block. It doesn't care about this block. What it cares about is this empty space directly in front of it. Whenever there's a change, it activates, and it sends a 2-tick redstone pulse. 2 ticks is like 0.4 seconds. It's very small, but it just turns on and turns off right away, and it sends a pulse. This is extremely important in redstone builds, and we're going to be using it like crazy all over the place, and it's important for you to understand how it works. Now, one thing that I always thought happened, but doesn't really appear to happen, is that when you open a chest, I thought that was a change in the state of the block, and it would cause the piston behind it to move. But it doesn't. So even though this doesn't do anything, this is important for you to know. So when I open the chest, nothing happens. I also used to think that if you were to throw a block in the hopper, somehow this would cause the observer to change state and to create a redstone signal. But I just threw this in the hopper and nothing happened. And my block of grass is in here, so I know it did actually pass through the hopper. So remember, this doesn't do anything. Now I wonder what happens. Well, obviously if I break the block. However, what if I place a trapped chest? Well, I placed it, and again it activated, but that's just because I placed a block down. Now it's raining again. I'm getting really sick of this. If I were to open a trap chest, do you think it's going to cause some kind of activation? I guess not. So, the observer itself does not take redstone signals. It does not get activated the same way that a redstone power component will activate the block adjacent. All it's doing is detecting a change in state. Now, up until now, we've been placing blocks and breaking blocks, but that's not the only change in state that you can have to a block. For example, this is a redstone repeater. We haven't talked about repeaters yet. However, one thing you need to know about repeaters is that they are going to extend a redstone signal. And they can extend a redstone signal in differing time intervals. You can set the redstone repeater to delay the signal that it is extending. So when you change the repeater's delay, it causes a change in state of the block that it's resting on, i.e. the block in front of the observer, and it creates an activation on the other side. Another way that you can create a change in state in this block, and this is very important when you're farming, is crop growth. Right now, I planted some seeds and I actually missed it. The crop started to grow. Every time it changes state, it's going to activate the observer, and the observer is going to send a redstone signal behind it. So we're going to wait here until this grows again, just to prove it to you. Okay, I got impatient. We're just going to hit it with bone meal so you can see what happens. When the crops grow, a redstone signal gets generated. This would have happened, trust me, if I would have just let it grow on its own. Okay, everybody, I think that's all we're going to talk about today. We discussed a lot of different things here and a lot of different principles. Again, these tutorials are going to go a little bit slow, but that's basically because I don't know anything about redstone, and I'm going to go slow, and we're going to talk about things little by little, and we're going to make sure that we understand what's going on. Now, the plan for this tutorial is that we're going to go over some basic principles like this, and then we are just going to start building redstone contraptions. We're going to start discussing, what if I wanted to do something? What would I have to do to build it? And that's how we're going to do this. We're going to do this through trial and error, and you guys are going to come along for the ride. And I'm really excited. I'm really excited to know how to use redstone, to become someone who's very facile with redstone, and it's going to be an excellent and fun time. And thanks for joining me in this episode. I hope to see you in the next one. See you later. Bye-bye.